What's up, everybody? Welcome to Crafter Hours. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again finally with a new stream. Well, not a new stream, with another stream. We get together and work on something fun, something that's very crafty and, personally meaningful, because obviously we're so, deeply connected to Emacs and Guix and Guile and things of that nature that we have to indulge in them as a way to get away from the humdrum aspects of life. I'm just making that up. Let's see. We kind of got a couple people here today. I didn't really let people know I was going to be streaming until just a minute ago, so I don't blame people for not being here yet. But I do see Glenn over in the IRC. Hey, Glenn. I see Elaine over in the YouTube side. Say hello, folks, if you are joining up now. I see some more folks on the YouTube side. Yeah, I didn't have a stream on Monday because it was a holiday here in Greece, which means that the kids were out of school and we did family things, so I wasn't able to do a stream Monday morning. But that's okay, because I've been having some time to think a lot about the project and some other related things, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But I'm ready to get back into it because I've been having a lot of fun. I'm kind of excited about the fact that we got the site deployed last Wednesday. So if you go to staging.emaxpackages.com, you will actually see a website there with an SSL certificate. So it's HTTPS, which is great. Doesn't have any package listings there yet. That's sort of what we're going to try to fix today, is that the site is deployed, but the database is not populated with information. So we need to get that part done, which we'll talk about in a little while. Also on Friday, we had a System Crafters live stream where I talked about setting up a laminar CI system for automatically building and deploying changes to the repository. We didn't really make it far enough into that to see the actual CI job aspect work. We did make some progress, it just didn't get far enough. But you can see there is a ci.systemcrafters.net website you can go to now. This is also being hosted on the same server as emaxpackages.com. For now, at least. We're not gonna have these things be on the same server forever, but at least for now, you can go there and kind of see what the excuse me, the laminar job dashboard looks like. We won't really fool with this today. I'm actually considering switching to Curus. If you haven't heard of Curus, it is basically a CI system that's written in Guile that is for is it the right site? Yeah, it's basically a Guix-based CI system. The reason why I didn't really look into this one at first is because I didn't feel like it had the ability to automate deployments. It only seemed like it was just for building channels and packages, but it seems it is possible to write your own custom jobs in Guile for this. So it may be possible for me to write a job to deploy a site that has been built using Curus. So I'm considering trying that again a little bit later, but not today. We're gonna not deal with the CI stuff for now. We kind of want to focus more on the functional aspects of making the site work, so that we can eventually get to having a real deployment on emaxpackages.com, where somebody can go and create an account and then go look at details about various packages and write their tips for the packages, also say which packages they use in their configuration, et cetera, sort of like the full feature set of the site. So it would be better to make the site work before we spend more time on fun automated build system stuff, in my opinion, anyway. All right, so let's see where we're at on the notes. I'll create some notes for the new session here. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday, March, Calomina. Have a nice new month. Let's see, it's the 5th, March 5th, 2025. All right, so for the agenda for today, what we're gonna do is, well, first of all, we're gonna ensure that the database is working on the site, but that's sort of part of what we're gonna do anyway, so it's not really like a really big work item. But we need to primarily run the sync archives script to populate the database with all Emacs packages. Now, there's 2 ways to do that. Hey, Mjolnir. Mjolnir says, I'm on here since I'm having some insomnia issues today. Well, I hope that that clears up soon. Insomnia is never a fun thing to deal with, but sometimes it does allow you to do nighttime things, like watch streams that you normally wouldn't see, so that's cool. So we need to run the sync archive script to download all the information from the various Emacs package archives to have on the site. Now, that's something I could easily go do manually, and we might do it manually the first time just to make sure that it works. So we could say that, I guess, run the sync archive script. Now, the next thing after that would be to run the sync script on profile activation, or at least whenever the site gets deployed. So manually run it the first time, make sure that it works, make sure the data shows up, and then make it so that when we deploy the site, it automatically syncs that information from the database so that, excuse me, so that the full deployment of the site is repeatable. So there's sort of 2 ways to look at this. One is the site is being deployed for the first time, which means create the database, sync the package archives. And the other is the database is already initialized. Just perform any new DB migrations. So the profile activation script, we need to do both of those things. We first need to check to see if the database exists, and if it doesn't, it needs to sync everything. But if it does exist, we need to make sure that we apply any changes to the database that we have encoded in the code base so that the site code continues to work. Also, I said that I wanted to make sure there's a public user creation page because you can't really do much with the site unless you have a user account. Authenticating tip creation requests, we'll do that if we have time. Don't really know how long everything's going to take here, but we will spend some more time on finishing that up. Which honestly won't take much time because we've already got a handler to deal with that, so don't really think it's a big issue to worry about. So there was another thing I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. So we also, last time we set up the server configurations repository, which is a way to encode the deployment information for various sites. One thing I was experimenting with last week that I didn't do on stream is, instead of having the site's information be here in modules in this repository, like for instance, we have the deployment information, the packaging and deployment information for emacsPackages.com here inside of this repo. But one thing I want to do is move that back to the Emacs Packages repo and turn the Emacs Packages repo into a Guix channel. And what that means is that the server configurations repo will have a channel file that gets used, which we already have a channel file right now, but it's only listing the main Guix repo. What we'll do is have the various sites that get deployed with these configurations all have their individual repos be channels so that they can be pulled into the channel file. And then all the stuff from those repos, like all the code for the service for the site, the packaging for the site, and the site code itself will all be in the same repository. So we won't have like 2 different repos where you have to go find the code for all the Guix related stuff related to the site. So we'll have it all split up and then pull that in by a channel file. We're not gonna do that today, but we will do it pretty soon, I think. And then this repo will only be for machine configurations for actual servers that we deploy to. So the server config that we have right now for the main server, so we go to system/main server. Hopefully this is visible. It has the information about the services we want to pull in. I want to mention that too in a second. Like the Emacs Packages service type, that is something that we will pull in from a channel soon, because a Guix channel is effectively another module path for Guile. So what that means is that this Emacs packages service type can come from the emacsPackages.com repository channel because it's exported as a symbol from the modules of the channel. And we can just pull that into the server configuration in this repository to then deploy it. So I'm starting to get a better picture of how all this kind of fits together and to make things a bit more modular. There's an entry in the Guix cookbook that goes over how to do this. Repository is a channel, but this is part of a larger software development section. This is adapted from a blog post that Ludovic Cortés wrote last year sometime. And it's super interesting if you want to see how you might be able to use Guix in practice for developing projects and then running them with continuous integration. I think the setting up continuous integration section actually covers using Puris. So it's not a whole lot of information here, I guess, but it does sort of tell you that you can set up a specification to build the channel for your repository. Anyway, all that is to say that we're going to dive a bit more heavily into Guix soon to show how it can be used for kind of real-world multi-site server setup, which should be pretty fun, I think. I'm looking forward to it. I've been having a lot of fun poking around with this stuff lately, and I think it's been pretty valuable to me to learn more about Guix. Now, on the flip side, I also have been looking into Kubernetes quite a bit the last few days, just to sort of learn something new, because, you know, in the present day, let's say, in the software industry, it's kind of good to have some specialization so that you can more easily get jobs with modern technologies. And I'm a bit more of a generalist. I know a lot of different things, but I'm never like really an expert in any area. So I've been looking into Kubernetes to see if I could focus a bit more on CI/CD deployment type stuff. I might be making some content separately somewhere else on that at some point in the near future. But one thing that I have experimented slightly with is setting up Kubernetes on Guix, and we might experiment with that at some point soon. I'm not saying that that's what I would actually use for these sites, but I think it's interesting to consider the combination of Guix plus Kubernetes, both for hosting a Kubernetes cluster, so creating and hosting a Kubernetes cluster, plus creating the Docker images or the container images that run in the cluster. So it might be overkill. You don't really need Guix to use Kubernetes successfully, but since this is a Guix-focused channel, we might experiment with that a little bit, just to sort of see what it looks like. So just to keep that on your radar as something that might happen soon. And if the folks out there are familiar with Kubernetes and want to tell me some things about it, please do, because I'm still learning. I'm just a baby right now in terms of Kubernetes, and eventually I'll become more of a toddler and a child with my knowledge level, but for now, we're at the early days. So, we've got our agenda. Oh, one other thing that we will do soon. Oh, okay, sorry. Let me step back 2 steps. One is that Apurv or Apurv, sorry, I always get your name wrong, and you haven't told me how you want me to pronounce it, so I'm gonna say it wrong again. Sent a pull request to the server configs repo to add fail to ban and firewall configuration. I'm very thankful for that because I was concerned after last week's streams how much the server was getting pelted with bogus login requests and port scanning. So Apurv has sent us some configuration to combat that using fail to ban. If you haven't heard of fail to ban, basically it's a kind of a rule engine that will ban people who keep trying to do failed logins against your SSH server, among other things. It sort of is able to detect various kinds of tomfoolery and just put them in timeout a little bit so that they don't continue to hose the server with bogus requests. Also, we set up a... which one, Big Edie? Help me out here. So, and hey Big Edie, hey Fikri. So also we got an IP tables service type configuration that sets up just the things we need for our SSH server and our HTTP server. So we're just sort of rejecting anything else both on IPv4, IPv6, which is great. So those 2 things alone should squash a lot of the noise. And I'm very happy and very thankful for the contribution of Apurv to make that a bit more solid. So now I'm feeling better about it. We've got some basic hardening on the server, and we can move on. So we can take that out of the list here. Another thing soon that I am thinking about is kind of going ahead and making the switch to PostgreSQL. Not sure the right way to pronounce that either. PostgreSQL, whatever. Apurv. Thank you, Big Edie. I appreciate that. So the reason why is because SQLite is not very amenable to a scaled out deployment configuration. So for a single server, it's great because you've got a file on the server, or at least on a mounted volume on the server that you can, as Peter says, PostgreSQL is life. Good to hear that. If you have a database as file on a single site server or single server deployment, it's easy. Life is good. It's not very hard to manage. Backups are easy. You just copy the file somewhere, no problem. But if you want to have multiple server instances, like for instance, if you want to deploy an application into like a Kubernetes cluster or something, and you need to have both of those nodes, those pods, whatever, talking to the same database, then you have a problem because SQLite is not intended for multiple writer scenarios where you have, multiple independent processes writing the same database file. At least as far as I know, it would be pretty difficult to implement that, I think, at the OS level, or at least at the library level. So to make the site more scalable in the future, because assuming the site becomes extremely popular and we get a lot of traffic, we're going to need to scale up at some point. We need to be prepared that, we're going to have like a higher scale deployment rather than just one server. So having a real database server that can participate more in a Kubernetes-like environment would be the right thing to do, I believe. So we might go ahead and try to convert to using PostgreSQL. It's not too hard because there's already a service configuration for that in Guix. Very easy to set up a server like that and deploy it. We just have to sort of adjust what we're doing currently with our SQL queries to make sure that they are supported by PostgreSQL, which I imagine they are because they're not very complicated. So it's just a matter of just sort of changing what we're doing. We will also have to host PostgreSQL as a container, local container for development. That's not a problem either. So we will look into that at some point soon. Not going to be today, but maybe next week. Let's see. Fikri says a few things. I don't think a lot of people understand Kubernetes the hard way anymore. Most of the Kubernetes cluster I touch is running under EKS, GKE, etc. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to learn it more from what is the actual design? How do you deploy things? How do you design applications to be deployed successfully? That kind of thing. I actually have a basic K3S cluster set up in Guix. I haven't deployed anything to it yet, but it is working. I was able to package both a program called K3D, which manages a local K3S cluster, and also package a kube control. Now, both of those are just binaries that I'm packaging using Guix. I'm not trying to build them from scratch. I don't really care. I just want the binary on the system and have it work, have it be pulled into a profile. But with both of those installed and with Docker set up already, or Podman, it's pretty easy to go ahead and deploy a local Kubernetes cluster. So I'm gonna start experimenting with that, and then maybe later look into some of the cloud provider solutions, but not yet. Speaker also says there's a propaganda that using SQLite is enough for most of the application. Is it propaganda? I mean, I think SQLite would be great for, like I said, a single server deployment, and also desktop applications, mobile applications, etc. If you don't have a super complicated environment for the application to run in, I think SQLite is awesome. It's great. It's no problem. But Postgres is definitely battle-hardened production level software. Figure says, I think SQLite can do multiple writers now with the WAL feature, but I don't know, never tried it. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if it works, but I don't know. I think it would be better for me to just learn Postgres the right way and understand how that's used, because it is kind of an industry standard. Speaker says, I think as long as the Kubernetes cluster setup is easy from there, unless you've setting unconfigured ingress. Yeah, I haven't really done much with ingress yet. I know what it's for, but I haven't really looked at that too much yet. Trev says, I need to make my argument for NoSQL soon then. Well, you should, because I would be interested to hear it. I mean, at least with NoSQL, you don't have to worry so much about migrations, but I think it's sometimes more difficult to make efficient queries. You have to be careful about how you store your data, how you index the data, etc. It's kind of a different mentality for designing data structures, or not data structures, data schemas. But I'm not opposed to using it. I just really haven't done enough with it. Okay, so I think that's everything I wanted to say before we get started on stuff. So the first thing would be to run the sync archive script to populate the database with all Emacs packages. Now let me think about what I want to do for that. So there's two things. First of all, we need to make sure that script is available. Peter says Postgres can do pub sub vectors, arbitrary documents in JSON-B, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, Postgres could definitely do NoSQL-like stuff, which is interesting. Also, pub sub is very interesting as well. If you can do sort of like a basic eventing model. Vectors, I don't really know what vectors would be in this case, but if you want to just sort of tell me briefly, I'd be happy to hear about it. All right. I'm realizing now that it would be nice to have that package definition back over in this repository. We may still have it. Let me check and see if... Guix, no. Package. I must have gotten rid of it already out of the repo. So let me just check this out. Deploy server. Probably it's in here, or it wasn't here. All right, we got a little bit of a mess here. Okay. Embedding vectors to support AI-driven search. That could be interesting for us. And is this checked in? It's edited, so it must be checked in. And what's edited? I think I must have deleted the... Very sorry. Yeah, deleted the package definition out of there. Well, let me think. I mean, maybe it makes sense to try and turn this back into a channel. Because what we need is to make the sync archive script be something that gets deployed as a binary on the server so that it can be executed. Both as a one-off script and also as part of an activation script in the profile. Excuse me. We're coming down with another cold again here. Kids just keep bringing stuff home. So if you see me struggling, it's just because I think I'm in the very early phase of a new one. Figure says, how does it feel to use VC mode compared to just Magit? I mean, for like 90% of the time, it's fine. I don't really have a problem with it. I haven't done anything like rebase. You can't really do rebase with it, but I haven't had to do rebase in a long time. Not since I was working at a job, so hasn't really been an issue. But if I needed to do rebase, I would definitely use Magit. I would just pull it out for that purpose. But I've gotten used to using VC mode enough now that it hasn't been a problem. And Zerka asks, do you have a video about VC Git? I don't yet. I probably should make one though, now that I've gotten comfortable enough with it. All right. So I think what I'll do is try to go ahead and do the migration to making this a channel so I can move those files back in. I know it seems ridiculous to do that now, but let's just get it done so that we have our all of our stuff that we need available to us. So System Crafter site right here. Tinker says editor equals VI, git rebase dash I. No. I mean, sure, you could do that. No problem. I think in the scheme conversion branch, I had started doing that here. So let me try to replicate what I had been doing. I'm gonna go back here to the main folder .geeks, and then inside that folder we're gonna create a new modules folder, I think. Yeah, modules. Modules folder, then Emacs packages site. I guess it could just be Emacs packages. It kind of feels weird to have the same thing be split. Actually, no. That's fine. Let's do it that way. All right, we're gonna create a folder. And then in here, what did I do? Packages. Which is kind of confusing because we got so many different instances of packages in here. Find file packages. Yeah, that's fine. Speaker says, next stream, I write Terraform equivalent in Guile scheme. I mean, we could do that someday, maybe. All right, so Emacs packages. That sounds terrible. That's okay, though. The point here is that we are now going to convert this into being a package inside of the Emacs packages repository. Ooh, we got these things in here too. Let's take these and put them in a different file. We're gonna call this the services module. I'll explain what I'm doing a little bit better in a second. Some of these, oh, okay, right, I missed this stuff. We'll clean these up in a minute too. All right, we got that. All right, let me see what else I'm missing here. So in the .geeks folder, there's just the modules / system crafters, and then we also have Guix channel is a file that we need to deal with here. So back over in the main part of the repository, Guix channels. So this is how a Guix knows it's a channel, and we're also saying what the directory for the modules for the channel would be. So like I said before, a Guix channel is an additional module path for the Guile runtime whenever Guix is running commands. And this .geeks-channels file is a way to tell Guix when it pulls in a channel where to find the actual modules that are associated with the channel. By default, it would just assume that whatever is in the root directory of the repository would be the case, or would be the modules for the channel. But here we want to say that it's in a subpath, which it doesn't have to be in a subpath. It could be anywhere, really, if we wanted it to be. We could make it be in the normal source directory, but for now, let's just put it separately so that Guix only is concerned with the Guix-related code in the repository under the .geeks folder. And then one more thing that we're going to do here is export emacsPackages.com, the symbol. So we're defining emacsPackages.com as a public symbol in this module, but we are also returning it as a value from the end of this module file, because we're going to go into the shell and we're going to do a symbolic link from .geeks/modules/packages, no, Emacs packages/packages to geeks.scm. And what that does is make sure that whenever someone wants to use Guix shell to build the application locally, they'll be able to use the same package definition for that purpose. Now we do need to tweak the package definition slightly to make it work here, because right now we're cloning the repository, but the channel already has the code for the project in it. So we need to change the way that we are defining the package so that the package gets built based on the latest code in the repository. So there's two ways to do things. One is to have a package definition that is referring to a specific Git repository and a specific commit to sort of pin the state of that package to a specific commit or version in the repository. But the second option is make your project repository into a Guix channel and don't have versioning set up necessarily with commits on the package definition. Let the channel commit be pinned so that they can fix the version of the project and build that specific version. So you're letting the versioning be done on the channel when it gets pulled into a channel file instead of the package itself, okay? I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but maybe you'll see what I mean as we actually get it working. So if I go back over to the System Crafter site code, where did I have that? Did I close the tab? Yeah, I did. All right, so let me go back into Guix modules packages. Now, we need to do a couple things. One is copy this VCS file, little predicate here. And what this does is define a predicate that checks to see if a given file is under the control of a Git repository. And the reason why we need that is because there's another bit of code here that we change, which is the way that we select the source files for the package. Now, we change it so that the source element here no longer does a git fetch. Instead, what it does is a recursive local file configuration. Okay, and what that means is it looks at the actual content of the repository here. So this relative path is relative to the actual folder structure. So we go ... and we get to emacsPackages.com. So it's 3 levels up. So 3 levels up here. And then we say we want a recursive local file, which basically means whatever is under the directory at that path, recursively pull it into the GNU store and use that as a source. But we also say select VCS file ? And the reason why we do that is because you don't want, so if you're doing local development builds, you don't want stuff that's not actually part of the Git repo to be included. So you don't want stuff like files that have been ignored with a git ignore file. You don't want those being pulled into the GNU store and sort of deployed. You want only the stuff that's actually been checked into the repository. So we're using this select predicate to say that anything that is a Git controlled file, which is being checked by this Git predicate here, and you see that we have dear name, dear name, dear name, dear name. This here needs to be the same number of levels up relatively as the ... that we're using in the local file as well. So point being, we are making sure that any file that gets evaluated for inclusion by local file here is a Git controlled file, so that whenever we're building this project, it's all coming from the local source, things that are actually known from the to the Git repository, okay? Commit here no longer is relevant because we are using whatever is the latest in the current repository. And the version string needs to change now. We're not going to use a substring for the commit hash anymore. We're going to change this to be a different thing. So now we're just going to say 05/3/2025, okay? So we're using date-based tagging, let's say. The version may not even be relevant. I don't know. We'll see. So now all the rest of the stuff is pretty much the same because it still is using all the code locally. Same package dependencies, same everything. I don't know why this is so indented though. Let's see if we can fix that. I guess not. I'll just bump this down 1 level or something. All right, so we got phases, modify phases. Maybe I'll even bump it down 1 level further. Yeah, whatever. Okay. That's all looking pretty good so far. I also think that some of this stuff may not be necessary. We might experiment with that toward the end once we get things rolling a little bit more, but let's just see for now. Okay, I think that's all good. We should be able to test this immediately by going and trying to use a Guix shell against that Guix.scm file. So if I go back over to our eShell, Guix shell dash f Guix.scm. Actually, no, Guix build. Let's see if we can build it. All right, it didn't like something. Invalid field specifier. Peter says there's a lot of duplication going on. From which part? Because we're about to fix that. We're going to remove all the duplication. Now it's going to be one package definition in one place. Let's see. Did I close that out right? That is closed out right. Oh, this right here. That's the problem. Okay. Try it again. Guix.scm, unexpected closing parenthesis. I wonder where that is. There's one at the end. Is everything good though? Let's make sure that the okay, the arguments is fine. Good. Seems to be building things. Let's see what happens. All right. So let's see. What's in the folder? Find file at point. No. Find file at point. We have our bin folder that has start server. We have the lib folder, which has the source files, I think. No, those are the precompiled files. Good. And we have the share folder, which has the Guile source files. What is in the doc folder? Probably nothing, right? Oh, README. Okay, cool. I like that. So that did seem to work. Now we have our package definition local. Back in the repository, which is great. Maybe we'll just go ahead and finish the channel conversion now, and then we'll see if we can deploy the site using this. Okay, so we're gonna go back over to the main repository for the server configurations. I'm gonna delete emacsPackages.scm here because we know it builds. So we're gonna take that out of here. We don't need that. Now over in systems, in main server, we can instead say use module Emacs packages, use module Emacs packages services. I don't even know if we need the package. Yeah, we're not using the package anywhere specifically. Not yet. We might later. So I'm pulling in the Emacs packages services module. I don't know if this needs to be emacsPackages.com though. Let's leave it like that for now. Then what I need to do is go to the channel file in this repo. I'm going to add the emacsPackages.com repo as a channel. So this is going to be Emacs packages. And this is going to be codeberg.org/systemcrafters/emacsPackages.com. Is it master branch? I can't really remember. We're about to find out though. Let's see. Main. Okay, fine. And then commit. I'm not going to do a commit. So one thing I'm thinking is that for building the latest versions of these sites, we probably will not pin commits unless later we decide that we do want to pin a specific version of the site. So the point there would be for something like Curus, you don't want to pin to a specific commit. Well, maybe we'll deal with that later with Curus, right? For right now, we'll just assume we're going to take the latest version of the code. I'm not going to worry too much about any channel introductions or whatever because we're not doing any, what do you call it, authentication of commits yet. So we'll just leave it like that. So I'm basically adding the Emacs packages repo as a channel. Now I'm thinking for 1 second here that we might need a dev version of this as well. Peter said for staging, I would not use tagging for staging. No, I wouldn't do that either. That would be for actual production deployment. Okay. I'm having a number of thoughts at the same time. Let me just move forward what we're doing. So first, we need to go ahead and commit the stuff that we did for the Emacs packages channel. Chris says, I thought this was release build stuff. You mean the stream? Not yet, not yet. Okay, let me check what we've got here. So we got a few unregistered files, which makes sense. Unregistered geeks.sem. I'm gonna add this, and the server.sem will delete it in a minute. For now, we're just gonna go ahead and try to commit this stuff. So I'll say equals up here, yeah. So we're adding the packages.sem file. And make sure that the modules are correct. Emacs packages. And Emacs packages services. All right. And where's the Geeks.sem? Oh, we're missing the Geeks channels file as well. So I'm going to add that too. And then Control XVV. Not on that one. Where you do the command matters, so it is kind of a pain. Let me do the diff again, Control XVV. And we're checking in only the news. Wait, what? No, I didn't add that though. Cancel. Oh, let me mark them, actually. I just need to mark the files that I want to include in the change. And that seems to be the right set of files. All right, so convert repo into a Geeks channel. And then I'm gonna push that up. Peter says, I have the feeling people are moving away from 3-tier deploys with CI/CD. Tell me why you think that, because I'm interested to hear the reason. Is it because it's easy to sort of gradually roll things out? Trev says, I think the DevOps code has surpassed the actual site code now. Nah. Okay, so we check out the Emacs packages repo. We've got convert repo into a Geeks channel. Cool. Now, I should be able to go over to the server configurations. We'll load up an eShell there. Geeks time machine -c channels .sem geeks build emacs-packages.com just to see if it works. Okay, so it pulled the repo down. It pulled the channel down for Emacs packages. Let's see what happens. Peter says, because the staging release tier is just there for 5 minutes to run the test again and deploy to prod, it's lost a lot of its traditional value. While we're waiting on this, I'll say hello to some people in the chat. Hello to Christian. Hickory says, this is so interesting. As far as I know, it works like Docker Compose, but it is not running under any container, which means faster. Not really. It's running on a VM. I mean, the stuff that I'm doing right now is running on an actual VM. Jericho says, how did you even learn Scheme? Trial and error, I guess. I mean, I knew some stuff about Lisp in the past. Hickory says, I still have no idea how you can replace 3-tier code, at least for staging. Usually the trunk-based development allows you to deploy to staging during PR and even allows you to deploy it to production, but I think you need the canary build. Definitely is needed somewhere. Peter says QA. Is there still QA somewhere? Yeah, I don't know. Is QA really a thing anymore? I remember when Microsoft said, "Yeah, we're getting rid of the entire tester role at the company." Didn't go so well, at least not at first. It's taken a while for it to build the derivation for the channel. Don't know why, but let's just see what happens. In the meantime, part of the reason why I did this is so I can go back into packages.scm and turn the sync script into a bin script as well. Peter says A/B deploys are another nail in the coffin. Yeah, I've heard that too. Failed to produce output path. Wait a second. No. That's kind of weird because it's not emacsPackages.com. So what's in the package definition? Packages. I'm already in the file. Okay. It doesn't have the right version, which makes me wonder why. Let's check out the derivation file. Trev says, I'd love to see project managers go before QA because you know I ain't testing my code thoroughly. Yeah, me either. As you see. Yeah, this is not right. The output paths don't make sense. Failed to produce output path. Probably because it's not doing anything. Let's take a look at the build log. No code for module. .geek/modules Emacs packages. Let me make sure that I didn't screw something up. I'll go back over to the Emacs packages eShell, and we are going to run that in a Guix REPL. .geek/modules. So use Emacs packages. What did I screw up in there? Nothing. The package definition is fine. Speaker says, I think most software in the 20th century created by actual software developers than program managers, and the software works just fine. Yeah, I think so too. Like, I mean, I don't know how much project managers are needed. The way I see software development is that problem spaces are often nebulous, meaning that you don't really know how to solve a problem correctly until you try it a couple times, and then you realize what you're getting wrong, and then you adjust to get the right solution. And a project manager can be useful for the purpose of just making sure that people are getting work done, but they're not really gonna set the technical course for a project necessarily. So I don't know. I'm not saying project managers are completely useless or anything like that, but I think that, yeah, testing is certainly more necessary than Gantt charts. Not to reduce a whole role to an artifact, but I guess I kind of just did that. Okay. Let me try to build this. Build emacsPackages.com. We just did that. And it has the right output path. So I don't know exactly what's happening here. No code for module. .geeks modules Emacs packages. Guix modules Emacs packages. And where is that getting pulled in from? Let's try this another way. Maybe it was just the way that I did it. Time machine, Guix build. Let's do a little Guix REPL. How about that? Guix REPL. No, oops. I have Guix there at the beginning. You're not supposed to put Guix twice. That could be part of the reason why it didn't work. Rev says, what is the status of X? Or can I have an estimate for X? Are the only words I've ever heard from a PM. I guess it has some value, but still. problem with doing this with channels is that it does take some extra time sometimes to get the environment put together. I don't know why it doesn't just remember that I already had a derivation for this set of channels. Like, why is it doing it again? Should it not be able to hash the contents of the channel file or the specifics of the channel and then know that it already has a profile for that somewhere? Glenn says, I feel that PMs are getting shortchanged here. Glenn, we're not talking about you, Glenn. You're a programmer. Even though maybe at your job you project manage some things, but you're also an engineer, Glenn. Come on. You're not just a person with a clipboard. Let's not, let's not slander Glenn here. Ikri says, the problem is that product manager seems so mandatory when sometimes we don't even need it yet. Like principal engineer, we need that at a certain point, but not every point. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, Trev says, I'm speaking only in the realm of software, not real engineering. Yes, I would not call software real engineering by any stretch of the imagination. Except if you are writing software that sends rockets to space, then that has to be engineering. That's not a quote that I want to have on my tombstone or my epitaph, Big Edie. Project managers are just a person with a clipboard. We're talking like a metaphorical clipboard here. I don't think people do that in practice anymore. Whoa. Unexpected. Oh, right. Okay, got it. Interesting. Okay, the channel build is what's going on here. So I can tell that it's failing to pull the channel in. We got the commit up there. Guix modules, Guix channels. I'm kind of confused. Huh. So yeah, it failed to build the channel for some reason. Let's see back in the channels.scm file. emaxpackages.com, system crafters. It definitely pulled it in because... See you, Big Edie. Hey, Thanos. Yeah, the channel is failing to build, which is really weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. No code for module. Guix modules, Emacs packages, value F. One dependency can't be built. That's really strange. I haven't dealt with this enough to know why it actually would have a problem. Because we didn't have a problem building it locally. Okay. Oh, you know, it could be possible that this reference of emaxpackages.com could be the issue. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong about that, but let's put this here. Use module. Emacs packages, packages. Oops. That could be an issue. It did not complain before, though. I'm kind of shooting in the dark, though. EmacsPackages.com. Okay, so it's really only that one symbol reference that is in this G expression, which I don't know if it's going to matter. But that's the only thing I've got right now. So let's just try to check this in. Fix package reference in service module. Just gonna push that up real quick. All right, that should be pushed up. This is the right repo, right? Yeah. Right. So we're gonna go back over to, get out of here. We're gonna go back over to the server configurations file. We're gonna pull the channel again. We're already doing that through Guix Time Machine. So let's see. It's gonna take some more time to pull down the latest commit and then try to build that. Let's see what happens. Speaker says, why no channel membership yet? Because YouTube takes too much of a cut. Which, thank you, Fikri, for reminding me. If you want to support the channel in a channel support-like way, you can go to systemcrafters.store, and there is a thing about the System Crafters Guild that's a little bit further down the page. Join the guild. So there's a kind of a monthly support thing there as well. I might change that at some point because I'm not super happy with the way the site is working for all that. It's a little bit confusing to people. So anyway, if you want to support the site on a monthly basis or support the channel on a monthly basis, check out the System Crafters Guild. There's 3 different tiers here. We need to work on some of the benefits, but that's something we could probably do in Crafter Hours streams at some point once we've made some more progress with the emacsPackages.com project, because there's plenty of cool things we could do, I think, on a stream integration level for that. Fun stuff, I think. Join the Crafters cult, said Thanos. Yes, join the cult, please. Trev says, did you catch the messages before about the person who couldn't download the Guile Scheme course materials? Yes, I saw that. Man, I don't know what that problem is. I will reply to them. I saw an email. Actually, I saw a forum post about it. I'll go check that out. But sometimes the Cloudflare functions backend does weird stuff, and it doesn't actually pass along the asset files correctly in the requests. I really want to rewrite that backend in Scheme, which we may also do here pretty soon. I already sort of started it, but I need to fix some other things with the Scheme conversion of systemcrafters.net before I can get there. Maybe soon. I don't know. I kind of feel like I am responsible to stay with the emacsPackages.com project until it reaches some level of usefulness before we move on to other things, because I would easily just jump and do other projects in the meantime, but then we'd probably never come back to this. So, god damn it. Again? It's literally giving me no information about why it's failing. Let me think how I can diagnose this. So there's an output, there's a builder. The log says nothing. Inferior script, close pipe, inferior failed. What does the script say? Huh. Got it. We got the Geeks folder, Emacs packages, packages. This is what was actually cloned in the channel pull. See you, Peter. .geeks/modules. So what we're seeing here is that this script is what's being used to build the channel. It's trying to compile them. Optimization level 1. Compile files. Find files .scm. That's in the inferior script. We saw the inferior script from the builder. The inferior script is being executed. And that's part of the derivation for the Emacs packages channel. So the input is running Guile. That builder script. And that derivation is failing to build. So it's almost like the compilation of those files is failing. So let me actually just try to see if I can. Emacs packages. So Guile. Help. Compile source files automatically. Fresh autocompile. So Guile. Fresh autocompile -l .geeks/modules. Okay. No compilation issues. Guild compile. Geeks modules. Emacs packages. Yeah, I don't get what's happening here. I don't know why there's a problem. We're wasting a lot of time on something that... Oh, hey, there it is, finally. No code for module Emacs packages. All right, fine. Let's do a -l on that. Okay, how does Guild get load paths? Let's assume that we need to move the parameter after compile, maybe. Something's happening. Dear name. Okay. Doing this directly probably is not the way to go. Something weird is happening, though. I'm getting real confused about what's happening here. If only it were so easy, Trev. Let's see. Services. Which things do we not need? We don't need licenses. We don't need git download, Guile build system, build system, build system. We need packages. G expression we need. We don't need Guix git. Just trying to remove any possible sources of failure. Certbot networking shepherd SSH web. Use package modules bash Emacs GNU PG Guile XYZ. Okay. Is there an unquote in here anywhere? No. It's supposed to be like that though. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's single quoted. I don't know what's causing the trouble, but let me just delete that file because it is not relevant here. Who knows? Maybe it's doing something it shouldn't do. So did I change anything in that file? Just remove some unneeded imports. Let me go back to the E shell for the project. We're going to use Guix repl-l.geek/modules. Use Emacs packages services. Interesting. Wrong argument in position 1, expecting string F. What line though? There's something wrong in there. I'm not sure what it is. Let me check the original code again. Sites. Nothing else has changed, right? Wrong argument type in position 1, expecting string. Let me make sure I didn't do anything wrong here. .geeks/modules. It is recompiling those too, right? somewhere a false is being given. And then the source directory is // Yeah, that's the whole site checkout. Select VCS file. Have anything here that is yeah, unregistered web REPL. It's being so unclear about what the actual issue is. Yeah, so it doesn't actually import it. Let's see if I do this. Guix build-f geeks.scm. Just try it again. Maybe there's something in there that's wrong. That's building fine. So it's a module path issue? What's happening? There must be something really stupid that I'm doing. No code for module Emacs packages services. Okay. Wish it would just tell me that it can't find the module. So was it literally just a problem with the load path? Use Emacs packages package. Use Emacs packages. Something ain't right about that. It doesn't make any sense. What happened? I didn't change anything. Hey, Porv. Fascinating, says Thanos. It's not very fascinating to me. It's very annoying. Adam Fighter says, what's your opinion about the Rust and Linux kernel C-based code issues? I am no expert on the whole issue. I know that people are fighting over whether Rust should be in the kernel. The only thing I can say is that bringing Rust into the kernel definitely complicates the build of the kernel quite a lot, but I don't really know if it is worth rejecting on principle, except for the fact that maybe a lot of people don't have Rust experience. So it does sort of throw a wrench in the works, but I don't see why it can't be done if people think that it's worthwhile. So I don't know. There could be other dimensions to that discussion that I'm not privy to, which is why I say I'm no expert and I don't have a valid opinion. All right. Well, let's try making another commit. I need to salvage the stream. All right, I got to salvage this somehow. Let me add this one. No. And this one. This web REPL.scm, why is this even here? Let's get that out of here. All right, so we're gonna commit these. Push the repo. And then we'll try to pull it again. I just feel like this is not gonna work. Because I have no idea why it's not working to begin with. Guix Time Machine -C channels.scm and the channel file. We've already verified the channel file is fine. Let's make sure I didn't type the address in wrong, because that would be pretty damn funny, wouldn't it? Okay, that's fine. Guix/modules, Emacs packages, that's fine. Let's try it again. I need to know which commit it's using, though. Should I actually fix the commit just to know that we're not going completely crazy here? There's the full commit hash. How about I kill that? And let's put a pin commit in. All right. Just to make sure, because I don't want to be dealing with... Whoa, that's the wrong commit. Yes, object not found. Where are we? Right here. Refresh. Clean up service files. This is the commit hash right there. Probably could have gotten that another way, but whatever. Okay, now let's run it again. Let's see if we get any different result this time. It'll have to do its whole moving things around and rebuilding derivation, or at least attempting to rebuild the derivation for the channel. All right, back to the original thought process. So what we want to do is also add the... Where is it? Let's go right about there. We're going to add the sync archive script. As another bin file. Okay. And that's going to enable us to run that. This is going to be part of the bin of the bin output of the package, which means it should be added to a profile. String append, substitute, install file, sync archives. Yeah, the .scm extensions on those are not not fantastic, but whatever. Apurf says there's a small issue in one of the firewall rules for the 80.40.443 rule. Dport doesn't accept comma separated values. There should be either two separate rules or you need to add multi-port module. It seems to be working though. I have deployed the site since you made the change and it seems to be working. But if you want to send another PR, then please feel free. Waiting, waiting, waiting. And this explains why it's not caching the channel result, because it never actually successfully completed building the channels. So let's see. Again. I need to be doing a find file at point. There's no other window configuration for that? Nope, apparently not. Just got to chase everything down here. Let's see, we're going to find the inferior script. Man, this could computer is getting completely hosed. I don't know why it's getting so slow, just scrolling through files. All right, so we got the checkout folder here, CBC212D. Is that the right one? Yeah, CBC212D. So we know that it's pulling the right it's pulling the right repository. We go to Guix modules, Emacs packages, services. We can see that this is the one that has less imports. So this is the latest commit that I made. Let's see, source, scripts, test, Guix channels. All of this looks right to me. It's got to be something really stupid. It's got to be something really stupid. Debugging build failures. Not exactly the same. Let's see, index, channel, channels. Package modules in a subdirectory, directory Guix. So we have that. Details. What's that? Oh, okay. That's for the news. I'm looking for some more information. Back in server configurations, Guix. Whoa, Guix time machine help. Is there any other commands we can use? Dry run. Do not build derivations. Uh-oh. Did the stream die? Okay, the stream blipped for 1 second. Hopefully it's not going to go down. Keep failed. Keep going. Keep the build tree of failed builds. It kind of did that, though. I think that's for actual package builds. Ah, man. All right. Wish this was... Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay. I see what the problem is. Did you see what the problem is? I did. Let me show you what the problem is. I'm pretty sure I figured it out now. It's, like I said, it has to be something stupid. And I think it is. The file is supposed to be called .geeks channel, not .geeks channels. I told you, it's something stupid. Watch this. So we are going to, what did I change in that file? I added that. We're not going to add, well, let's not do that in the same commit. All right. I'm going to mark, actually, this needs to be added first. I'm going to mark both of those. Control X, VV, rename .geeks channels to .geeks channel. The monster couldn't save me from that one. All right, let's go back to server configuration, eShell, server configurations, eShell. We're gonna go back and then run the time machine again. I think this time it's gonna work. So let's move on to building it. Let's just see what happens. So how long did we waste on that? 30 minutes, 45 minutes? I don't know. I think we're still learning though. Regardless of the issues, we're still learning something. I can also take that channel pin out as well once it finishes building. And in this repo, let me just make sure. Sites, yeah, we're gonna delete that. We don't need that. So we got sites and systems, or machines and systems. That's all we really need right now. In a second, it should be done. Just gotta, chew through the dependencies and everything else. Thanks, Apurv. I will merge that in just a minute. So Adam Fighter says, what's today's task? Well, basically banging my head against the wall a bunch of times. We're supposed to be trying to get the database initialized for the website so that the data can actually be seen on the live site. We're getting there, slowly. Still problems. What's happening? Failed to produce output path. Let's see what the build log says this time. I am extremely confused. Ugh. I'm not confused because we pinned the commit and it's the old commit that still has the bug. So no, that's not confusing at all. It just wasted time because it takes forever for it to pull the channel stuff down. Let's do it again. What do you think about the agit workflow? What's agit? What's that mean in this case? All right, so as not to waste your time waiting for this to happen, or at least not to waste. Anyway, I'm going to take a 2-minute break, and I'll be right back. We'll just let this thing go, and then we'll continue with it in just a second. Be right back. All right, so Thanos is passing a link to... All right, look. The channel seems to be building successfully this time, all right? So that was really just a matter of me having that file named incorrectly. So the channel didn't work. So let's see, Codeberg agit support. What is this? A modern contribution workflow. I've never heard about this. Send patches without a fork. Blah, 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 blah. What is it? Okay. Can you tell me what it is? Unnecessary to fork a repository or create many feature branches. Users can use git push command to create and code review pull requests directly. What, this, they just share the same repo? Is that what it is? I would have to look at it a little more closely. Okay. The channel is building correctly this time. Let's try to build emacspackages.com. I think this will work this time. Boom, there it goes. Now it's building the package. Thank God. All right, now that is in the server configurations repo. We just built that. We can also take a look real quick at the was it main server.sem file. We are pulling in Emacs packages services module so that we get the Emacs packages service type. I think we should be able to deploy this now. So Guix time machine -c channels.sem deploy system crafters. Come on. Machine/contabo1.sem. I believe that's the right. No code for module systems main server. Let's run a REPL real quick because I think something isn't working. REPL use Emacs packages services. No code for module. That's even with the channel configuration pulled in. That's kind of strange. Use system crafters systems. No code for module. It's not giving me any real hint here. Oh, REPL-L dot. Use system crafters systems. Okay, what am I missing here? Systems. Is it main? Okay. I got a typo here. System oh, okay. Got it. That's no longer a module. That's probably what the problem is. Let's just bail out of here real quick. Try it one more time. Got to do the deployment. Once again. Should be fine, I think. Okay, fine. No code for module system crafters systems main server. I think that is definitely a module load issue. But it's not really telling me, is it? So that module isn't loading, even though we've got the channels pulled in. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It should be in there. Let's go M. System crafters, systems main server. Service type. Ah. Well, that worked. What else? Is there anything else that's public? Just that one. Okay, so everything's loading. Main server config. Seems fine. Really strange. No, it's not strange. I'm being a total idiot here. I need to make a script for this. All right. Hey, Scott. So this should deploy. I keep saying things should work, and they don't. But this time I'm feeling pretty confident that it will work. So once this deploys, what will we see? Nothing specific. But we're one step closer to being able to run the script. Also, let me double check something else. So we've got the start server.scm file. We're wrapping things. I think that, yeah, I need to wrap that as well. Uh-huh. All right. Okay, so I've got one wrap program here for a start server, and we have not done that part yet either. So let me also do one for sync archives in the same way. Which makes this really, really ugly in my opinion, but it is what it is. There's one other thing. Yeah, the deployment was successful. That's good. There's one other thing that we're going to want to do, which is to go to the main server configuration and put the emaxpackages.com package on the package list so that it is part of the main profile. We can run that script. So emaxpackages.com. That is not a long-term solution. At least it's not necessarily a long-term solution, just for now. But it's something we can do. All right, let me see where we are with the changes. So channels.scm, this is server configurations. Oh, wait. Yeah. So we remove emaxpackages.com. we can do that. All right, let's do that. Let's check this change. Got that. All right. And then edited channels.scm. Let's add that to the list as well. We've added the Emacs packages channel. Cool. So on server configurations, we will commit this. Use emacs-packages.com repo as a channel. Okay. And then over in packages.scm, for the repo, we have some other work to commit here. To put sync archives into the script and to wrap it as well. I need to make sure locally that this builds before I commit it, okay? So let's go over to the Emacs packages, eShell, okay? And then Guix build-f Guix.scm. Let's just make sure this still builds. Okay, seems to have built. Let's make sure that the script file is in the bin path. We have start server, we have sync archives.scm. So both of these are there. Sync archives is here. If we go into the sync archives .scm file, we'll see that the site DB file name has been hard coded to var db Emacs packages, which is what we wanted. All right. So with both of those changes in place and committed, add sync archives.scm script to bin path. All right, so that's all good now. And then let's also really quickly pull in Apurv's change, Emacs package. No, it's in the server. Wow, what did I just do? Like 4 windows? Cool. Go to the pull request list. I saw the other pull request, Apurv, about adding the Shepherd action to view logs. I think that there's something new for that on Shepherd design where maybe it's not necessary to do something special for it. Like, is it not built in at this point? We do 2 things at once. Use multi-port module for multiple destination ports. Let me just take a look real quick. All right, multi-port D ports. I'll go ahead and merge this because probably is a necessary fix. Come on, click. Thank you. Merge commit. Merge. Actually, can I rebase it? Rebase and fast forward. Boom. All right, so we got that merged. Thank you, Apurv. Great. I will. Oh, did I push the other? Let's see. Plus sign. We're gonna rebase. Yeah, okay, fine. Gotta go into the shell and set the upstream branch. This is master, right? Origin master. Okay, fine. Plus sign. We're gonna make it rebase by default. Boom, rebasing. Successfully rebased, let's push. All right, now we got the latest up on that repo. Not that repo. Keep closing tabs. There we go, got it. Now, we can try to do the deployment again. I probably should add a script for this. So how about, just to make it easy for now, because I keep forgetting exactly what I'm supposed to be doing for this. Bin shell There we go. Now let's see. It'll take a moment for it to wake up. All right, so where are we now? What can we do? Well, what we can do is once this gets deployed, we should be able to go into the server and then run the sync archive script manually to sync the database. And then hopefully the website will then light up with all the package information. And then after that, we should be able to do an activation script to do it automatically on deployment. At least that's what I'm hoping. But we'll find out soon. In the meantime, let me find out some, let me see, Guix activation script. Let's figure out how we want to do that. Guix daemon. I had found something in a repo somewhere that was a good example of an activation script, but now I've probably lost it. Oh, let's go back to the Shepherd docs too. Log. System log service. Maybe not the same thing. Commands. All right, maybe Apoorv is right about adding the log service, not in that repo, in the server configurations repo. Go back here, pull requests, Shepherd action to view logs. Custom log file path and a Shepherd action log to view the logs. To view the logs, you can use sudo herd log site. Yeah, it's weird that you have to do all this work. I guess we don't need that. We can just tail the log file, but we do need this log file configuration in here for sure. Like, we need to save the logs. We could try it though. All right, so this should deploy once it's done. It just takes so long for anything in Guix to run. It kind of sucks, but whatever. Still waiting. There's also a way to run an arbitrary command on the server. If we look at maintenance server.scm, I've got it like in here somewhere. I think it's Guix deploy -x to execute a command. Taking some time. All right. Successfully deployed, staging.emaxpackages.com. We are able to get to the site. Obviously, nothing is synced yet because we haven't run the sync script, but we should be able to SSH into the server Let's see, ANSI term, SSH, what was the IP address? All right, and then sync archives.scm is a script I can run. So I can run sync archives.scm, fetching ELPA repositories. All right, what is it? Oh, wow, is it like choking on a record? Is this something new that we haven't handled yet? Oh, okay, attempt to write a read-only database. Let me check the file path. ls var db. Oh, I need to be sudo. Okay. GNU TLS module not available. I think. Let me check this out. In the package definition, I did not wrap it with GNU TLS. So that explains why all of a sudden it doesn't work. Let's see, Guix packages by name. Come on. GNU TLS. All right, so we need that one in the wrapper also. This is really annoying. Peter says a lot of progress. Yeah, we fixed a couple things. There are a lot of stupid stuff that I had to bang my head on. Okay, so we need to add Guile GNU TLS. Actually, I mean, it really is only needed in the other one. I want to test something later too, if we have time. I want to make sure that we don't need all this extra stuff we're doing right here, because I feel like this manual wrapping is not right. Something's wrong about this. Okay, so the script is running, but it's just crashing because the TLS connection can't be established. So let's try add Guile GNU TLS to wrapper script. Now, we want to make sure that it still builds. So eShell, let's just run the Guix package definition, make sure that this actually runs still. Okay, there was a failure. I'm glad I didn't bother trying to check that in. View the build log. GNU TLS, Guile GNU TLS. Guile GNU TLS, Guile GNU TLS. Is it not actually an input? Is that what the problem is? Don't you need NSS certs to make GNU TLS happy? The problem we ran into actually is about the module, I think. Load GNU TLS. GNU TLS not available. Module not available. I think it's a module issue, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out real quick if that's the case. Oh, GNU packages TLS. So we'll put that in the package modules list, TLS. There we go. And now we need to amend the commit we made. Control C, Control E. And then we can go, let's see, back over to the, oh, yeah, server configurations, eShell, and then run that again, which involves pulling the channel again. I think we do need a local dev version of this or something that can pull from a local path, but that's okay. We'll do this for now. Wait, hold on. Didn't seem to pull the channel. Did I not push? I didn't push. Okay. That explains why I didn't try to pull it again. Okay, so I assume it would pull in some cert database. I just have to add the certs all over the place to make things work. NSS certs is part of the default profile now, but we'll see. It might be the case you're right, and I'll have to go and add that specifically to the profile. Packages. So base packages, I think NSS certs is part of base packages now, if I'm not mistaken. We will find out soon, though. Yeah, it was. Just waiting, just waiting. I'm hoping that this will be successful this time so that we can actually see that the data gets synced and then we can move on to the next step. So, I don't know, the task that we were supposed to do in the stream probably wouldn't have taken that long if it wasn't for the channel conversion and the associated issues with that. But I feel like we're better off now as a result. Takes forever. Once the channel is pulled down, it doesn't take that long. The next time it kind of just runs it, so. Let's just see how it goes. What else do we have on the list today? Ensure that the database is working. Okay, we will figure that out in a second. Once we finally get the deployment to work. My goal would be to sync the archives file, see that the data is pulled up on the website, then go delete the database and then try to automatically sync it in an activation script. And where did I find that? I wonder if it's on my other screen here. Yeah, I think I found it. Okay, I think I've got an example on the other screen here. I think I should be able to get this figured out. Cool. So we're on the other. We've got the new code deployed. In fact, let me try something else here. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's just be smart. I'm going to go back into the server. We're going to run sync archives again. The fact that it hasn't crashed yet tells me it probably is working. Let's see. It will populate the database, and then we should be able to refresh the page and see actual package information on the site, which is great. always does take some time. We probably should add some more log statements about what it's fetching so that it's clear. Okay, cool. Repositories fetch completed, reload the page, go to package listing, and there we are. We have a listing of packages that have been pulled in from the actual Emacs package repositories, and this is actually on the staging website, so it's real live data, which is cool. Ooh. Does it crash? Yeah, it probably does crash. That's good. At least it doesn't let you post a tip if you're not logged in. Oh. Did it crash the whole server? No. But it's not possible to load the Ace window page anymore. But I did break something. That's okay. Probably should put some authentication on that route before I do anything else so that people don't go and just start spamming with all kinds of funny stuff. Yeah. Just doing the mental math. We don't even have user accounts yet either. So what can I do? Can I just quickly disable that? Let's see. Back over to emaxpackages.com. Tips. Use tips. Vote action handler. Tip action handler. New tip. Insert package tip. I think if we just go to routes. And take the tip action handler off. I mean, we could do them with middlewares. Is that enough? Maybe that's enough. I mean, even if it breaks it, that's fine, in my opinion. And what does the with middlewares function do? I guess it's not showing. Fine with middlewares. Handler middlewares. Okay, fine. So let's just do that. And we're going to drop authenticated. We'll just push that. And then once we do that, we should be able to go back and run another deployment action. So if I go to this and run deploy to sh, that will kick off another deployment. It's going to pull down the latest on the emaxpackages.com repository, which is the latest commit to the code base, and then it will deploy from that. All right. Peter says, I would not run unlimited time actions in an activation script. I would schedule a cron job to sync the database and let the first invocation hydrate the database. That's actually an interesting way to look at that. Schedule a cron job to sync the database and let the first invocation hydrate the database. So, I mean, you're almost running an immediate job, right? The thing about Shepherd is they have the concept of one-time jobs now, or maybe they had it before, but it seems like it's a little bit more transient service maker. There was something more specific now. We had looked at this on stream recently. Run commands in the background does so by wrapping those commands in transient services, similar to the systemd run command, which you might have encountered before. Creates a service called transient, which has a spawn action, which you can use like this. Maybe I should do that. I can add that as a Shepherd service for the project, and then I can just call out to herd to run it. Herd spawn transient. Register services, list transient service. With a given provision and requirement, service has a spawn action that lets users run commands in the background. Run make from the current directory. Ah, so you have to give it the actual command to run. Not exactly what I wanted. Finding services. Transient F. Whether the service is a transient service is automatically unregistered when it terminates because the stop method is called because the associated project process terminates. Was there like a list of examples in here somewhere? Service examples. Where are we? Okay, 39. A daemon that periodically, okay, shepherd service has a one-shot option. We will run the start action and terminate after it's done. Thank you, Peter. SHD. Timer. Okay. If I look in the index, was it one-shot? One-shot services. One-shot service is a service that as soon as it has been successfully started, it is marked as stopped. Other services can nonetheless require one-shot services. One-shot services are useful to trigger an action before other services are started, such as a cleanup or an initialization action. Well, that sounds like what we want. As for other services, the start method of a one-shot service must return a truth value to indicate success or false to indicate failure. So it sounds like what we need to do is go into our services definition. And we have our Emacs packages shepherd service extension. We can add one here for a one-shot service. I guess we don't need the requirement. But here requirement could be that and site migrate, db migrate, db init, let's call it that. Provision, site db init. I need to change the names of these things too. Also, I need to spell provision correctly. Provision. Start. Make fork exec constructor list. And we're basically just going to do the same thing as we do here anyway. Wait. Okay, there's that. Sync. And where we are on the deployment, we have another deployment that got successfully deployed. Let me go to the site, reload the page, go to A68 mode, create tip, boo, submit, reload the page. Still crashing. That doesn't seem right. Anyway. Let's think about this for a minute. I do want to see if we can get this service running, because what Peter said is a great idea. Like, do this as a service instead of an activation script, because that way you don't have to do anything special. It's literally just a service that gets started first. Crashing is the soundtrack of progress. Yes. All right, and we also want to say for sure that this is going to be a one-shot service. So back to one-shot. That is part of the parameters to what? to service. Guix Shepherd service. Is that now a field on the record type? One shot. Okay. So that is a one-shot service. Okay. Sync archives.scm. That also should be right because that's using the wrapper script. I think we're good there. Now, what I want to do is go into the ANSI term here. I'm going to delete that database. I'm just going to kill that sucker. Let's see. Sudo rm var db emacs packages.db. Let's just go look at the site and see if I totally destroyed it. Interesting that it still pulls the details after the database file is deleted. Is it all in memory right now? Is that what's happening? Is that where I put it? Echo site. No. Cat bin slash curse driven development. That also is a thing. ls GNU store. This is probably a big mistake. Can't even cancel it. Let's just let it finish. There we go. Okay. Oh, which sync archives.scm. All right. What was I going to look for on that? Cat. Cool. var db, ls var db emacs packages.db. It's not there anymore. Sudo herd restart site. Okay, cool. That makes more sense. So it must have been somewhat in memory. All right, so next, we will try to deploy with the change that we just made, the service that will run sync archives at startup. We're going to find out real fast whether that's a problem or not. The other thing we want to do is log out the output for this. And I saw in Apurv's PR that there is a log file parameter to make fork exec constructor. So we're going to put that in right here on sync archives at least so we can get some visibility into what happens. Sync archives.log, we'll say. Okay. And then we'll commit this. So add site db init one-shot service to sync db on startup. All right, so that should work. Then we're going to push that. Now we can go back to the server configurations, eShell, and then deploy it again and see what happens this time. I'll be curious to see if it actually works. That would be pretty good though, because that's a good starting point for continuing to work on this. If it's able to sync the database, which now that I think about it, it's going to keep the service of the site from running. So the delay that introduces might not be ideal. So on first deployment, the site won't come up until the initial archive sync is complete. But in practice, we won't be syncing the entire archive every time we start up. This is only for like the initialization of the database and applying any migrations that might be missing. All right, so let me add that to the notes for next time. Ensure tip creation requests are being authenticated. Ensure that DB migrations are being applied by sync archives, which we could really do right now, but we're almost out of time. What else do we want to say on that? We'll move the public user creation page for next time as well. And what do we do today? We converted emacsPackages.com repo into a Guix channel. Updated the server configurations repository to use the channel. You do not have to require a site DB init for starting a website. I know. The way that we would have to deal with that is inside the backend code. If the DB file doesn't exist yet, we'd have to show some kind of like, temporary like page down for maintenance type page or something. Yeah, sync in the background. So maybe we do want to change that. In fact, we can just go do that now. All right, it's finishing building the channel configuration. Now we'll go on to building the site to deploy it. Take some time, a little bit of time. Peter says this is where Guix really shines. It is nice. I like the fact that we can very declaratively set this stuff up and then just have it be pushed to the server, and it just works. But it takes forever. Very long process. Okay, deployment finished. Let's go check out the web page. Still running. Let's go over to the ANSI term, and we're going to check out ls var log. Come on now. Sync archives.log. We're going to cat that. Permission denied. Fine. Sudo cat. Nothing there yet. Oh, all right. ELPA repositories fetch completed, so it did actually seem to work. If I refresh the page, we do have the packages back, and that was after I had deleted the file. So that initial sync did seem to actually work. Let me just check this out real quick. Let's go to the network requests. Create tip. Ooh, submit. It gives me a 200 response. That's not right. It's supposed to authenticate me. What did I do wrong? Apur says, I also recently started writing config for one of my servers after watching the previous stream. Is indeed very cool. I like it. I think it's awesome. Let's see. Emperor says, does System Crafters like JS web apps, or is that too high level? I mean, sure, we like web apps. I mean, we're basically writing one here. You just can't really tell right now because it's so primitive. All right, so that's pretty weird. If I go to Ace window. Oh, wait, hold on. Ooh. It gives me a 200, but I can still load the page, which tells me that it didn't break. So maybe that actually did work correctly. It's just returning a 200 instead of a an authorization error. Fine. Okay. So I think we can say that we'll check whether it's being authenticated. We'll have to do some logging. So we ensure that database is working. Ensure that the database is working after running sync archives .sem manually. Created a one-shot Shepherd service that runs sync archives.sem. All right, let's see. Created a one-shot Shepherd service that runs sync archives.sem to populate the DB. What else do we do? What else did we do? It's gonna be hard to list all the commits for this because there were a few different commits. So we don't need the initial startup. What does sync archives do when the DB already exists? DB update schema. So we are running DB update schema, which is good, but we seem to be automatically fetching the repositories. And this may be part of what Apoorv was fixing in one of his later PRs that I didn't merge yet because I wanted to kind of keep things separated. We don't have to fix that right now. We can do that another time. All right, so the last thing I wanted to do before we turn out the stream is I want to try to address this issue where we kind of are compelled to wrap the scripts with load path information. I don't think that should be necessary. I don't think it should be necessary. It feels wrong. It feels like I should not have to do this for every single dependency, including transitive dependencies. So what I want to try locally not going to work though. Let's see. Guix channel local path. Mcron will be phased out by timer services. Yeah, that's one of the things I've been looking at is that Shepherd has its own stuff that doesn't require Mcron anymore. So doing a periodic sync of package archive data, I'll probably do that with Shepherd. All right. Let's see. Server configurations, eShell. Let me just see. I got to deploy the SH here. What if I have a channels dev.scm and a dev.sh? I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just really quickly trying to put this together. I'm not going to deploy it. What we're going to do is run a Guix system container. Guix system container help. I think it's like networking -n system crafters machines main server to SEM. Is that right? No, systems main server. And then channels.scm. I know this is kind of gross. Let's see if this works. I don't think this is going to work. But let's see. Unable to find Guix system crafter's machine's main server in load path. I wonder if it's because this is bogus. So file : / home David will. What? Oh, wait. File, right? File. System container. System crafter's machines. Okay. Systems, damn it. No wonder. Main server does not return an operating system or an image. Let's change that. Main server should return main server config. If it can start a container. Okay, it returns a container script. That's good. So now we can go change the packages.scm and remove the Guile load path stuff here. We don't really want that, so let's just get rid of it. Make sure that I have successfully gotten rid of any errant parentheses. Wrap program. We have the lambda and the let. The true needs to be returned, so we're closing out the let, and then the lambda is still there, so we got the true there. And if we go down here, we see the arguments are still in place. So, wrap program. Propagated inputs. I don't know if this is going to work right. In fact, SQLite, maybe we want that to be a propagated input. Bash, not necessarily. So we'll put that in propagated inputs. Now, why? Why do that? Because we want those libraries to be added to the profile. I feel like we tried this the last time and it didn't work. So this is why I'm trying it again, just in case I did something really dumb, which tends to happen as we've seen before. Let's see if propagated inputs make sync archives work correctly. Because what we really want is to not have to do this complicated load path manipulation. So let's see. We're going to go back to the E shell. We're going to run dev.sh again. We're not going to be able to see the result of this until we run the container. All right, so now we got the container here. I'm going to say sudo and run the container. Okay. Is that from the SSH key generation? What did I just see there? Oh, okay, sure. I don't care about that. Open file descriptor, no such file or directory. So let me jump into the container. Take a look at what's in there. So it's 12.429 ANSI term. And that is sudo ns enter. Yes, I want to get rid of ecast. All right, so ls var log, nothing there. Herd status. What? I don't know why Shepherd is not responding. Huh. Stopped, it is enabled. Yeah, so herd status site db init. Something about that is hanging. The Emacs packages DB file is actually being created, it seems. And it has stuff in it. So does it mean that it ran? Herd start site. Oh, Nginx. Okay, I see. Nginx couldn't start because of the certificate stuff. What if I go back and services? I need a way to run this in dev mode and not add certain things. Like, for instance, the SSL certificate key whenever it's in dev mode. So I don't want that. Come on. I'm losing my ability to type. We're going to end the stream in just a second. I just want to make sure that this is going to work first. All right, so we got that. Also, the certbot service type, I'll probably just comment that out for the moment because we don't need either of those. And provision DB site init, Nginx. Oh, I think that the stuff in this directory also needs to be committed before it's going to work. How do I set this? Running the container. I want to set certain environment variables in the environment. May have to pull the ripcord on this one. It does seem that the thing is being synced, which means that it must be writing the database. Let's see. What if I go into the container again? That doesn't really mean much, right? Let me do one thing for sure. I want to Guix channel use latest local code. File, get in home, my channel. Direct checkout hacking. Not the same. Okay. Yeah, the problem I'm having is I have to make a commit to the local channel because the contents of the channel are only taken from the latest commit and not from the unchanged files in the local folder. So, or sorry, the uncommitted changes in the local folder. And the reason why that matters is because I'm trying to take out certain things in services.scm. I guess that actually makes sense though. Let me just try something real quick. I'm losing my ability to type. All right, so go back to dev.sh. I'm going to put dev equals true. That should work, I think. So long as it passes along the environment variables through the time machine invocation. Let's try this. Hello. I didn't commit that. Almost finished here, almost finished. Okay, so at least that will allow Nginx to start. And maybe we'll just leave the certbot thing on right now. Whoa. Is that all good? All good. All right, that seems fine. If not dev mode, let me just drop these down to another line to make it a bit cleaner and clearer. And the if should return false by default, I think. Let's say geyser repo. Let's just get a little geyser repo here. So if equal. Oh, I'm an idiot. Wait. I should just use and. Oh, no. No, I shouldn't. Or. No. Let's just try this. Doesn't return anything. Interesting. It returns unspecified. All right. Well, and will work. So and not dev mode. Return false. Okay. That works and that works. Okay. So let's commit the changes. Don't use SSL certificates in dev mode. And I don't need to push that yet because I can go to the eShell and run that as a dev build. Almost done. Well, it's going to do its derivation job here for a second with the local repository, but we'll see what happens. This is one way to test things locally. Like you're basically committing to a local repository and using a special channel config to pull that local repo into the channels and then running it the same way that you would otherwise. Another thing I'll do is go to the channel configuration files, take the Guix channel out, and put default channels. Is that right? Default channels. Channels.dev, do the same thing there. No reason to have that whole thing spelled out. Okay. Hopefully we should see the site start up and also the database run. And if that works, I'm going to change the the start server script as well and see if that works. Did I commit those changes though? No, I did not. No wonder it seemed to work. Okay. Let me go back here. That's all right. We'll just try it on both of them. Here we go. This probably won't work, but let's try it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to... No, I'm not. I want to be done with this. I just trying something real quick because I don't really like the way this is looking. I think this is overly complex for no reason. Bin. Is out being used anywhere? Yes, out's being used. Okay. So that's still fine. That's still good. That seems... Nope, that's not right. Okay. Let's put another close paren there. Back, forward, cool, that's good. We'll do a little speculative commit here. So simplify wrapper script generation. This I might have to roll this commit back. I'm not gonna push it yet. Let's try to run this one more time. Did not return a list of channels. Let's see, channels, dev. This should be a const star. And the other channel files should be as well. Okay. Whoa. Probably should have tried to build that package definition first. Anyway, if this fails, we'll just continue. I mean, we'll end the stream. I just want to see that whether things are going to work or not. But like I was saying, I really don't like that whole pattern I was having to use here to wrap the scheme scripts and put the the load path, like sort of hard code the load paths in there from all the input packages. I'm thinking that the propagated inputs should actually fix this issue because it's supposed to put them in the profile and include them in the load path of the profile where this is being installed. So let's see if that actually does work. Let's see, what else we have to put in our notes? So crafterhours.org. Attempted cleaning up the manual Guile load path manipulation in script files. Overall, though, I think it's going pretty well with Guix, using Guix for deployments and for putting together the server configurations. It just takes a long time to run them. Not much we can really do about that. One other thing I want to look at really quick while we're waiting on that to finish, if we look at main server.scm, we see here that the way that I configure the CI is I kind of inserted a bunch of stuff in here, like the simple service, CI, certbot config, etc., blah, blah, blah. What I would like to do is extend the laminar service type. So Guix extend service. I think this is possible, not 100% certain. I should be able to inherit from the service type of laminar. So if I were to go into, I mean, I guess sites would work here. Define module, system crafters, sites, CI. And then if I took all this stuff, dropped it in here, well, yes, create it. Define system crafters CI service type, and then service, okay, service type. I think inherit works. Inherit laminar. I think that would work. So, let's go check on the build real quick. Okay, it's still working on something. Let me check services here. We define service type, name site. Yeah, okay, I think that will work actually. So let's see, go back to CI to SCM, service type, name, system crafters CI, that's fine. Inherit laminar service type. What else we put into a service definition? Default value. We're going to go with this laminar configuration that I already have here. I don't know that this is going to work, but we're just going to give it a little shot here. And then the extensions list, we need to extend the extensions list. Service extensions. Or is it service type extensions, I wonder? Let's see. I'm going to jump over to the Guix code base. All right. Looks like service type extensions is the right accessor for the record type on that. which is great. So now we can go back here, service type extensions, laminar service type, const star. We're gonna just add some other service extensions on top. Description. Yeah, we don't really need that. So for the extensions, we have a couple here. Actually, it's just these two, actually. The certbot service type. And then, I think it's the Nginx service type. Okay, it looks fine. Then we can delete these. Define public on this service type. Go back over to main server. Service system crafters CI service type. In fact, you just drop it right here. And then we would want to use module system crafters sites CI. Okay. That might work. I don't know why it's taking so long. What's it doing here? Why is it like rebuilding it? Oh, I didn't pin the commit. That's what happened. Okay, that was stupid of me. Yeah, I don't want that. Go back to channels. That's why I did it the way I did it. I had a reason. The reason is I had pinned the main Guix channel. Okay. All right, so that explains why this was taking forever. One last try. One last try. All right. Oh, and I've already updated that server config. Well, I guess we're going to find out now if it works or not, are we? Let's try it. Let's just see what happens. Maybe it will complain. Maybe it won't. It will complain because I haven't pulled in the right modules. This is main server. Let me just pull that over to CI to SCM. Take these out. Maybe that's enough. We'll need CI. Maybe SSH-TLS, version control, maybe certbot CI, not networking. Web, yeah, we'll need that. Okay, let's just see. Doing way too many things at once. But it's something that I thought about because I feel like this should be possible. You should be able to inherit from an existing service type and customize it so that you can bake in certain configuration. How long have we been going here? All right, just about 3 hours. Come on. Just building the local channel again, I think. We already have the built channel for the main Guix repo, so it shouldn't have to do all that again. All right, let's see what it does. It might completely choke, but... Oh, I didn't actually check any of that in. I didn't check any of that in, did I? That's fine. No, it's not needed. No code for modules, system crafters, sites, CI, dev mode true. Good. Okay, so at least we saw that. No code for modules, system crafters, sites, CI. System crafters, sites, CI, and we're looking at dev.sh. I did not put the -L. System crafter CI service type unbound variable. I need to import that, don't I? System crafters sites CI. System crafters sites CI. Define public. Oh, service type. System crafters CI service type. Oh, let me check. Maybe there's a build failure in this file. So, services must be G expression. Let's try both of those. And now I'll do Guix REPL -L dot use system crafters site CI. No code for module. System crafter sites CI. Nginx deploy hook. Okay. Okay, that worked. Let's try run a dev one more time. Wrong type to apply certificate configuration. Okay. Since this is not important, take it out temporarily. Because the real thing that we were trying to do here is... What? Oh. Propagation. Let me change that then. Back... Oof. Can't really change it very easily, can I? Is that why I stopped doing that before? I know, I'm relentless here. I'm just trying to see if this is going to work. I know I'm going too far. But I just want to make sure that I get this solved. If it can be solved. If it can't be solved, I'll accept that and I'll move on. So in the CI site config, we'll have to come back to that. I won't check that in today. What else did we have here that we need to check in? Channels, we're gonna add the channels dev and the dev.sh for sure. So let me just go ahead and mark those. You can also add the deploy script too, because we kind of need that. No. No. Come on. So add scripts for dev and deployment. And for main server, what do we have in here that's different? Just pulling that in. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Oh, I think we actually need that last part. So I'm just gonna kill the stuff I don't want to commit. And then I'm gonna press V. Is that right? Control X, V, V on this. I'm going to use Control C, Control E to amend the previous commit. Because I just want that hunk. Because I need to export that main server config for it to work in the local scripts. Okay. Still waiting. All right. We're going to be done soon. If it didn't take so long, it would be much easier to do sort of to do iterative changes, but it takes a little bit too long sometimes for this to run, which makes streams very boring. I should be like playing a video game on the side while all this is going on. Let's play Super Mario World, F-Zero. I don't know. I'm just pulling out random Super Nintendo games. Okay, we got a container. And what do I hope to see on the container? Well, I hope that it runs the site. Sync archives.log. I must have screwed something up with that. But localhost 8080, is that right? Or is it 8081? Which port is that running on? I use -n. Let me check the PID. PID is 15996. ANSI term 15996. And ls var db. Herd status site db. Yeah, okay. I feel like failing. No SSL certificate is defined for. All right, so that explains up the site's not up. Let's try this. Sync archives.scm. Watch this. Oh. That's not right. Something's wrong there. Guix Way Surfer game for the Spring Game Jam? Maybe. When is that happening? Var DB. Can't have finished that fast. There's no way. There's no way it finished that fast. Yeah, no way. David says, I think Tropin has a solution for the Guix Time Machine channel build time thing. Maybe so. One last thing then. Start server.scm. 8080. Throw to key, jot invalid signature. Huh. Is that because I have a key already? Let me delete that. All right, let's try that again. Wow. I'm extremely skeptical right now. Extremely skeptical. But it does seem that the changes that I made did work. So I don't need all that crazy wrapper mess anymore. All right, I'm gonna assume that's working. If that's the case, I'll be very happy because that was kind of an eyesore in the whole code base. So if I don't need that whole wrapper thing anymore, then, all right, I need the wrapper to add the environment variable for the hard-coded database path. But I don't need it for manipulating the Guile load path. So let's do that. Cleaned up the manual. All right, cool. I'm happy with what we did today. I feel like we did, you know, a lot of stuff that at least puts us in the right ballpark for continuing working on the site functionality. So what if I could just try, well, okay, I'll do this off stream. I'll do one last deployment to the real site off stream because I don't want to have to belabor the point, let's say. Trev says, maybe Guix wouldn't be so bad if a game popped up while it pulls and builds. It could be a roguelike, and the point would be to get a high score before Guix finishes. Yeah, you'd probably be able to do quite a lot, wouldn't you? All right, cool. That was it. We did a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to find some way to rationalize the commits to show where we were. Maybe I'll just put the last commit where we were, not list every commit that we did during the stream. And then you'll be able to go to the crafter hours log here on the website to see like the latest information about that, what we did today, which is great. I also want to remind people that if you want to learn Guile Scheme, I have a course on that. This is the hands-on Guile Scheme for Beginners course. Go to systemcrafters.net and you'll see a link to it there. The discount that was up last week is now down, but if people, you know, ask enough for it, I might put it back up again. But if you want to learn the fundamentals of Scheme, functional programming, also practical programming in Guile Scheme and beyond, check out the course and let me know what you think. A lot of people joined up on the course last week during the discount. I really appreciate the people who did that. So it really helps the channel out a lot, and it helps me to continue spending more time trying to figure out this whole world of Guile and Guix web app development and deployment so that we can all figure out how to do more of it, because I think it's kind of fun. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your time and attention. Thanks for sticking with me for the 3-hour runtime here. And we'll be back on Monday for another Crafter Hour stream, and we'll have another stream on Friday, whatever I come up with on Friday. So same as usual. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time. Until then, happy hacking. Thanks.